I have reason to believe that you are the dead Empress's daughter.
She's dead. I can't be.
Do you have proof that she died?
All the history books?
Yeah, but who wrote the history books?
People smarter than me.
I'm willing to believe, and maybe this isn't safe to say here, but the person that wrote those history books most likely had...
I'm burning my 5th level spell slot to cast Telepathic Bond, so we can talk telepathically for the next hour.
My inkling, and tell me if anybody feels any differently or can disprove this in any way, but is that the Emperor most likely killed the Empress in order to get the throne. Somehow, the daughter escaped, grew up somewhere else. That's you, Shizano. You were somehow brought into the Shogun career. I bet you that the Emperor is doing all he can to cover up the fact that, number one, you're the Emperor, the heir to the throne, and number two, that he killed the Empress. The reason I believe this is, number one, because of that elf that you killed. I believe he was telling the truth. And also, your parents seem to, when I was talking to them, strongly suggest that you are the Empress's daughter. I mean, isn't it interesting that the Empress was killed 1 year after Shizeno was born? Wouldn't that timeline be a little bit too coincidental if you were not the Empress's daughter, you know?
It does seem to be a little on the nose.
I mean, a lot of people were born that year, I'm sure.
After you told me the name of the Empress's daughter, I cast a scrying spell on her, and I was just looking at you, so...
Well, that's some concrete evidence right there. Abby, our number one detective, has basically given us undisputable evidence. How do you feel about that?
I find that hard to believe, but I have no argument against it. I can't think of any counter to a scrying spell.
And I seem to have irrefutable evidence that your Emperor is up to some shade.
Oh, I know.
Hey, Shizeno, how do you feel about the Emperor now that we are talking in a safe space?
I've been plotting revenge for about 160 years and plan to kill him.
Cool.
You could have told us that.
Yeah, you could have told us that.
You should ask before we got to
I feel like I know.
By how you've acted in the past, I don't know if I had any inkling of that until now.
I'll also say it doesn't usually come up in a, casual conversation that you want to kill the leader of your country. You know?
I'm just saying, I can't really talk about it here. He's pretty much got my clan under, they're kind of hostages to him, so there's not much I can do.
Is that why they don't get anything in return from everything that they do for the Empire?
They seem to live in and through the river, but they're forced to till the land and grow crops and just give them all to the Emperor because they don't need them.
Yeah, I mean, our clan in general, we don't need any material goods or anything. We keep the bare minimum, but he uses that to his advantage and it forces us to do more than we normally would and takes everything in excess. I tried to stop him from doing that, and then he made me stay here.
Do you want to be a shogun or
the Empress?
Or the Empress? Yeah, I guess that's a valid question.
Be one way to save my clan, I guess.
Were you forced into the shogun career?
It was heavily implied I should stay, rather than spread the fact that he was taking advantage of my clan to everyone and starting an uprising.
This clears up a lot, obviously. I'm still kind of mad about Rydell O'Lyra. Why would you kill her? Or him?
We were being watched. It was the law.
Yeah, but you have friends that would have saved you. Or we would have come up with an excuse. I don't know. I'm still mad about it.
Okay, so I also want to cut in with everybody sneaking around. I can just scry on stuff from a distance, or Shizeno could, as an employee here, show us around or do the investigating herself. Because if our plan is...
What I did was to prove to Shizeno that something was going on, because I didn't know that Shizeno was under the same impression that we were.
But I feel like the best way to help the country deal with this is to not get caught breaking the law and maybe get killed because of it.
Valid. I will say my expedition was less fruitful than Arrow's, so I think we still have plenty of work to do if you're still okay with scrying on people.
I mean, yeah, I just don't want to I feel like getting caught doing something they don't like before we go to an island with a giant monster that ate part of the castle, where we could be backstabbed and fed to it, and then they're just like, oops, they got eaten. No evidence, was probably not the best timeline to do stuff.
Valid. So maybe we fight the giant whatevers and then come back and try and overthrow a country, right?
Yeah, come back is hopefully maybe semi-heroes, even though I assume the Emperor, and if there's any shoguns helping, will take all the credit for it.
Shizano, another question. What are the Emperor's motives? Obviously power, right? But, what's his deal?
Be more specific? I don't know what you mean.
Is he just looking for resources? Does he just like like being rich? Is he a dragon secretly? Maybe. I don't know. Does he have any motive besides being like just a greedy dude?
Expanding the empire is always kind of like his main thing there.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, to expand the empire, make WoW bigger. He wants more control, more power.
Can you think of any reason why he'd want to be in control instead of the Empress? Was the Empress not a very dictatorly person?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Does anybody ever talk about the Empress?
No.
And that's out of fear?
It's not important.
You said that there were history books. So why do you care about history, but not your previous ruler?
Yeah, I don't really have easy access to that kind of stuff.
Any other revenge confessions anybody has here while we're safe?
Well, I mean, I still want to kill Asmodeus.
I mean, I had some weird dream about a castle that was made of crystal, very much like this, but I don't really know how the two are related yet. But it was like both a vision that was like it felt like it had already happened, but it was all new information to me. So I don't think it was like a repressed memory or anything. I think it was just like a actual sort of vision.
All right. Well, I think we all learned a lot about each other. I guess my next question is, should we spy on the Emperor before we go to bed, just to like kind of get an idea of what he's doing at night? Because what if he's like going somewhere that like would be inaccessible by regular people, and that's the reason why he didn't wake up when the castle was attacked? I just still find that real sketchy. So how do you guys feel about Abby doing her stuff and spying on the Emperor tonight?
I am almost certain that that's not what happened, but like him being asleep while it happened is that like why he couldn't prevent it. But then he apparently like helped in some sort of capacity deal with it, for all that anyone knows. But no one would know if he did it on purpose.
Right.
If this place, maybe not the Emperor himself, has access to all sorts of abjuration and transmutation and necromancy, who knows that they're not making all of these big monsters as like experiments, and this one just went wrong here instead of on a controlled island.
Very sus.
Probably really easy to
like dying.
It could be, but I feel like it's also easy to solve a problem you create, make your own enemy, and deal with it for just
deal with it. That's the problem, right?
That would be pretty clever.
Because if this is the biggest or one of the biggest threats, sort of make an enemy to unite the people to rally against, but you're doing it yourself to have absolute control over them. She's like, oh well, we're at war. You have to listen to me. We're being invaded. You have to listen to me. I need more power. I need more resources. Then
yeah, I mean, like you said, there is a chance that if we do defeat this monster, he takes credit and declares war. So no spying tonight is what you're saying.
I mean, I would just have to do it soon because everything resets with the dawn.
Agreed. All right. Well, let's do it quickly. See what info we can gather, and then we'll be off on our journey tomorrow, and then we'll come back to this mess, I guess, after that.
Sounds good.
Good to me, too. As long as you're up for it, Abby.
I assume we wouldn't have a, like, lock of hair, bit of nail, or the like.
Shizano, any chance you would have a lock of the Emperor's hair or something?
I can't imagine I would. No.
Would you have a possession or garment? It's all. I mean, everything in this place is his, right?
I mean, your armor is his, right?
I was going to say he technically gave me the armor, although then I guess that would mean it's mine now, not his.
But I feel like it's more of a his ring or something. Are there any likenesses or pictures of him in this room?
Where did I get those kappa from?
You got it from somebody in the marketplace. Somebody gave it to you as a child. There's no paintings or depictions of him in this room, but there were some in one of the large rooms that have a whole bunch of art stuff in it.
My knowledge of him, my knowledge or connection would just be firsthand you have met the target. So he doesn't add anything to a save modifier. But yeah, I'm going to guess scrying on him. So it creates an invisible sensor within 10 feet of him. I have 120 feet of true sight. So it's not just seeing, it's seeing through any crazy magic. And so I'm just going to look around to see where he is at first.
Yeah, so it looks like he's in a clandestine kind of rectangular room, speaking with, looks like 3 red cloaked figures. Behind him, you see a long hallway, and it looks like there are some jail cells. It looks like there's a couple pathways leading out of this room. The floor has puddles and stuff. At the corners of this room, there are 4 shogun, at one at each corner, and then 2 are facing each other in front of the hallway that leads to the prison cells. But basically, as soon as you see this, those three figures, they turn towards that. Yeah, they have like sores and like pale skin and like patchy hair. One of them looks like a monkey person. Another looks like just like a human. One person who looks like they have dark skin and white hair, but when they look towards your sensor, it looks like they have 8 red eyes. They look femme. You can see that the Emperor has these sores and missing hair bits and stuff like that. Person with the spider eyes, their normal form, I guess, they don't have these spider eyes.
And so I'm assuming the visual illusion around the Emperor is also him being transformed by magic.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess I will say to the party, I can see the Emperor meeting with red-cloaked people, seem to be covered in sores and their hair's all patchy, and the way you guys would tend to describe Taint. He's down in some like dungeon with prison cells, meeting with them, and the Emperor also seems to be covered in sores with patchy hair, and he has some sort of, illusion magic on him to make him look normal. What do you think I should do?
So Shizeno, you would know that these are members of, you would think, various cults of Maho Sukai, the blood magic users, kind of use the taint to get powers. Most of the time they die, though, or they turn into like those monsters, like zombies and stuff.
I'll tell Abby that.
Should I try to with them?
How are you going to them?
I could cast suggestion on somebody.
As long as they can't trace it back to you, sure.
They probably just think that I did it.
It has an 8-hour duration, so if the suggested activity can be completed in a shorter time, the spell ends when the subject finished what it's asked to do. And if the condition isn't met before the spell expires, then it just isn't performed anymore. And if me or any of my companions damage it, the spell ends, but none of us are there. Do you think I should do anything?
Who can you suggest? Any of them?
Creature I can see.
I mean, if you could get the Emperor to take the necklace off somehow and come out in front of everyone.
Shizeno, what do you think that necklace does?
I'm assuming that's how he's creating the illusion. I'm guessing. I don't know that. I would assume that's where it's coming from.
Whatever that crystal is, it made me sick just holding on to it.
Yeah, I'm going to cast suggestion on the Emperor. He would have to make a wisdom save. I'm going to use my portent of 2 for the day, so he fails.
Unfortunately,
He can't be charmed.
Yep, or frightened.
Doesn't seem like it worked. I don't think he can be charmed.
So when you try to do this, because they have seen your sensor, the 3 of them reach into a pocket that they have, and they sprinkle some sort of like white crystals all over each other and are casting some sort of spell and using hand motions and saying things. You've seen this spell cast a couple times. You know this spell to be non-detection. Your vision kind of like warbles like you're underwater. It fizzles away.
Would I think that a dispel magic spell would break the illusion the Emperor has over himself?
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty simple illusion thing.
Whoever was with the Emperor, and maybe him himself, I couldn't really tell, saw the sensor, so they wouldn't know that it was me. They just knew they were being spied on, and they cast a non-detection spell, so I couldn't make anything out anymore. But I think, assuming I can get close enough and not really be detected like we were before, I might be able to dispel the illusion over the Emperor, and everybody would see him for the tainted form that he has now.
No one would be a pretty good time to do that.
After we fight a giant monster.
Probably. And let him know that we've defeated it, and he tries to possibly take credit for it and has a huge, celebratory ceremony. Might be a good time to dispel that illusion. What do y'all think?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, then. That's our plan for now.
Does anybody know of a way that I might be able to carry around that crystal that I grabbed without feeling the effects of whatever it is that it's doing? Because when I was carrying it earlier, it was making me feel sick, but I don't really just want to leave it.
How would the 2 of you who have dealt with taint deal with something that is tainted?
The jade box, maybe.
Do you think you could, acquire something like that for me?
Yeah, I mean, I could try to get one in the morning.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, just so I can, throw it in my bag and not have to worry about them, finding it in the room or me dying from holding on to it. I was thinking maybe once, I don't know, the time is right, I could turn it into heroin or something like that.
Okay.
I don't think it's really a great leave evidence behind, and I'm definitely not going back to that mine.
Let's get some sleep. Tomorrow we have some giant lizards or something to fight, or at least to find. We'll start heading towards the door, and if no one stops me, I'll go back to my room.
I'm exhausted and my face hurts. I go to bed too, and I'll follow Wyatt.
So y'all get the benefits of a long rest. The people who sleep, you are awoken by boisterous laughing out in the common area.
Around what time?
8 a.m.
I wake up, get ready, and head towards the laughter. If Arrow's sleeping, I wouldn't necessarily wake her up.
Arrow is awoken as well. So
You hear that?
Yeah, it's very loud.
Do I know whose laughter it is?
everybody except for Wyatt knows it's Sal and Jeff.
Do you hear that? They're talking about me.
I don't think that's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know. We should go check it out. And now I'll get ready and go see who it is.
Okay. You go to the common area, and it is you see Jeff and Sal seem like they're telling a funny story to Team One.
I'm gonna say, "Hey Jeff, you talking about me?"
He goes, "Oh, you know it."
I'll suspiciously side eye him. I'll walk on in. I'll say, "What are y'all talking about?"
We're talking about you don't know what to do with those mushrooms that popped up around your sauna.
Oh yeah, those were kind of weird. I mean, still are kind of weird, but your girl, what's her name, Kira, told me she locked them, so I left them alone.
Mm-hmm. Sure you did.
I can respect nature. I did.
They just kind of laugh.
I'll sit down and hang out. Are they having breakfast?
They look like they just got here.
I'll say, what are y'all waiting for?
So it was actually, we were waiting for you to get up.
Oh yeah, what's that?
So we're gonna go get this throne or beat up this monster or something.
Yeah, we gotta go kick a lizard's ass right in the cloaca.
Is Erilyn coming with us?
She's actually gonna stay here to kind of keep things settled or something like that. She said.
This is Jeff, who and who?
Sal, Scooter, all Team 3 is here.
I'll say, all right, so it's Team 2 and 3, yeah?
And Team 1's coming too.
Oh, okay. Speaking of Kira, where is she?
Gizmo leans in and he says, she'll catch up with us. You think that she's off doing something else?
Well, I mean, all right. I was excited to have a mission with her finally, but...
And then Sal kind of pokes you in the side and says, yeah, I bet you were.
Excuse me? What does that mean?
He's like, Lathander sees all.
Oh, yeah. Good old Lathander. All right, so we headed out?
Yeah, I guess they had a boat ready for us, I guess.
I'm going to go do one thing before we leave.
All right, then. We'll wait here, and then we'll try and find that boat.
All right.
I can meet you at the boat, I assume, right?
Yeah, we can meet at the boat. They said it's on the west docks. Guessing you know where that is.
Yes.
We'll probably head to the west docks, and then Shizeno can meet us there.
All right.
Before you go, Shizeno, I'll whisper to you where I hid the crystal.
Where I need one person to come with me.
Oh, I'll come with you then.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So
okay.
So y'all are heading to the west docks. We'll just say you get there 20 minutes later. All right. So Shizeno and Arrow.
Yeah. So what were the name of the monks? They were called the Jade Monks.
Yeah, they live in one of the back sort of buildings.
Would I be considered superior to them?
You'd actually be a level below them.
How about a noble?
Level below them as well. There's 3 tiers to the Shogun essentially, other than a head general. But you have your starter rank, which is what you were before. And you have sort of advanced where you kind of have a little more clearance to kind of do what you want. And the top rank is kind of you're in charge of the 2 ranks below, and then a general would be kind of there's only 5 of them. So yeah,
I'll try going to where the Jade Monks are.
Okay. Yeah, they're kind of just doing their own thing back there, tending to there's gardens and stuff and fountains and stuff. This is kind of a main hangout area for nobles.
They got the other monks just kind of walking around.
Yeah.
I just pull one of them to the side. Any of them, doesn't matter.
Sure. It says, is there something wrong?
Yeah. I'm gonna say I found a small tainted object. We want to keep it under wraps as much as possible. We don't want word that it was able to enter the palace. I need some kind of jade container so I can contain it, and I want to get it out of here.
Oh, you have it on you?
No, I haven't touched it because I don't want it spreading to me. But I will take the box to it.
Okay. Yes. Wait here, and they rush off into the building that they stay in. A few moments pass by. They come back out with a little ornate box. The top of it is jade.
Yeah, perfect. I'll take that, and I'll just remind him not a word to anyone.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like they take your word of advice, and they're oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'll take that, and I'll just leave with Arrow. Easier than I thought it would be. Good. I'll hand the box over, and I'll just follow to wherever she left it.
You're handing it to Arrow?
Yeah.
I'll just go to the room and get the crystal, toss it in the box.
When Arrow moves the nightstand underneath, the wooden floor looks like it is charred in a circle around the crystal.
As I pick it up.
So you put it in the box?
Yeah, and I just put the box in my bag, close it, I'm going to go meet up with everyone.
Yeah, I'll follow.
When we're at the docks, is there a bunch of local people around? Or are we pretty separated by this ship?
Yeah, it looks like this is kind of a military port. There's a lot of Shogun kind of milling about.
Great. Then I guess I will message Sal and say, hey, this is Abby. I don't want to scare you too much. Is this an okay way to talk to you for a second?
You see his face light up, and he looks over at you, and he smiles.
Yeah, I give him a a shy little wave.
And he looks confused. So it seems like he's not sure why you're messaging him.
Does he say yes that I can?
Oh, yeah, he does.
I'm not sure how much you know about the taint that Wyatt and Shizeno have dealt with before, but it seems like the palace where the Emperor lives seems to be filled with it, just as a heads up.
Says, well, that's not good.
I give him a little
Insightful.
nod and say, yeah, the Emperor himself seems to be infected, but no one knows. And we don't know how to deal with that. Just if you ever, have an audience with him or are near him, just so you know.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, and then I give him a little wave and turn away.
You see him go down on his knees, and then he goes like this.
Right, just praying so hard.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's kind of like, that's him. That's what he does.
Anytime he's got to say anything.
About a half hour goes by, and Arrow and Shizeno arrive.
Welcome back. Looks like we're ready to go then.
One of the Shogun there, they look like they have better armor than Shizeno does. We're not coming with you, but we're just going to make sure that the boat is all secure, and then we'll clear off of it. You'll have to row across there.
Fair enough.
We couldn't really spare any supplies for you, so you're on your own.
How long is this journey supposed to be?
You can kind of see the island. It kind of looks like it's through fog almost. So it that it's kind of close. It seems like it would take maybe a few hours to row out there.
Okay, valid. Okay, I board the ship.
Yeah, but there seems to be a few Shogun kind of going around and checking under things and looking for something. But then when they see that you're all on there, they start clearing off of the boat. Matchroom says, "Does anybody want a song while we're going to kind of help the time pass a little quicker?"
Sure.
I'll say, why not?
He begins to play his lute there. He begins to play a song about pie gut, and then Gizmo has him stop, and he's like, "Oh, right."
Talking about pie gut.
Then he starts to sing a song about. He sings a song about Max and Richard. Richard Baker is his full name. A heavyset dwarf with white whiskers and a red nose. He started the inn way back as a bakery. People would gorge on his great baked goods, but then overeat and want to nap. So he offered his bed to those people. Being so gracious, they would tip him generously. And then the current owner, Max Keebler is his name, an elf selling smoked sausages and cheeses from around the world. Over time, they became good friends, and Richard started to expand his business, adding an annex for more beds and even more goods. This included a deal with Max where he would get a portion of the money made from people sleeping there, as well as profits from the sausages and cheeses Max would bring there for Richard to sell. Over time, Richard fell ill and asked Max for help, and he started to be unable to afford the maintenance to the place and supplies in addition to medicine. Eventually, Richard died and left the inn to Max. Basically, the story there. Through this long tale, Matchroom sings, you then arrive on the shores of Shidekima. And on this island, you see these huge trees, bigger than even the biggest trees that you've seen in the Misty Forest.
Spooky.
It does seem a little bit tropical. The trees are they're not palms, but they have lots of foliage.
Are the leaves really big too?
It's hard to tell because they're so high in the sky, but you would guess, yeah. You could probably see a few of them on the ground. They seem a lot bigger than normal. They're probably about the size of normal sized person.
Do we have any idea where on this island we're looking for this throne?
You do see some trees and stuff snapped off that lead off to the northwest. And when you're kind of observing them, you actually feel the ground rumble a little bit, and you see off in the distance to the northwest, it seems to be some birds flying off from the.
I got spooked by something.
I'll point towards where the birds flew off, and I said, I think that's probably as good a place as any to start, right?
Yeah, so once we get relatively close, I could always use locate object on the throne. Try to pinpoint it, but it seems like at least sizable island. So I don't want to burn too many spell slots since we're going to be probably getting into a fight.
Yeah, how big is the island?
1/6 the size of Wa.
So how long would you say it would take to walk from one point on the island to the farthest opposite point of the island?
Depending on the terrain, it could take you maybe a couple days to a week.
Oh, she big.
Yeah.
She big. Okay.
Miles and miles and miles.
Okay. Anybody want to volunteer to lead the way?
Gizmo says, I got it.
Under my breath, I'll say, thank God.
If we're all just going to the same place, should we just split up?
No.
Would we cover more ground that way?
We're also weaker when we're split up.
I mean,
to be fair, we are fighting giant. Excuse me. We're fighting. There's a chance that we fight a giant animal of some sort. I don't necessarily think we should weaken ourselves in any way.
Sure.
All right, I'll help chop down any vines or whatever if you come across them.
I got it.
Why is Gizmo being a jerk?
Because we let Din die.
Bro, he didn't seem that broken up about it when I gave him the info. He's very understanding. It's also not our fault. Anyway.
I tried to sue him.
He seems to have been in a salty mood ever since Mantra mentioned Pie Gut.
What's wrong with Pie Gut?
I'll approach Gizmo, since I am now clued into that social aspect. I'll say, hey, Gizmo, you feeling okay?
He says, yeah, I'm fine.
All right, well, if you want to talk about anything, I'm here.
Matrim just kind of threw me off earlier, so just thinking about things.
You want to think out loud?
Just thinking about my dead brother.
Your dead brother, Pie Gut?
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of, this whole situation kind of reminds me of, like, his death, and there was, like, a big monster attack around the same time that, like, he and my dad both died mysteriously. So, I mean, they weren't injured. It was just, I don't know.
Did they disappear?
No, they just died in their sleep.
And where was this?
Pie Gut's hole in the wall.
Oh, that Pie Gut. So the Pie Gut.
One and only.
Have you ever looked into the mysteriousness of their death?
Every day of my life.
I am familiar with Pie Gut. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. I'll keep an ear out. I'm sorry that happened to you.
I mean, it was a while ago, but still harmful memories every once in a while. I try to remind people just to not rely on me, but sometimes people forget.
Fair enough. I get it. Follow Gizmo. Help him take down any physical obstacles that might come in his way.
So you all come to this clearing after walking for about a few hours. At the very far edges, you see a couple of very large, what look like cows, I think the size of a house.
Oh my gosh, I wish that were real.
But in front of you, you see the remains of 6 or 7 of them. And on the very far and opposite of the live cows that are there, there's like this dark green, kind of mossy hill to the back of this clearing. It looks like it goes further into the forest, and it has some like triangle-shaped rocks sticking out of it. It's moving up and down very slightly.
Like as if it were breathing?
Yeah.
Yes, somebody got tired after their meal of 6 ginormous cows.
Anybody else seeing that hill breathe?
Yep.
What do you think's up with that?
Nothing good.
So you both know this looks like the very end of a tail of a giant lizard.
What's the likelihood this is our guy?
I mean, probably pretty high.
Veron will say, my experience with lizards, they're this big, there's not too many of them around, so.
Anybody have any ideas as to how we get the throne, or
cut it open?
Kira says, well, if we can find any food that it doesn't like.
Then we could try to make it puke. Oh, if it's far enough along, do we have to wait for it to pass it the other way?
Kira's with us now?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to say that she met up with you guys at the docks.
Okay. Yeah, Kira. I mean, I imagine you knowing so much about mushrooms, you must know a little bit about maybe poisonous mushrooms or poisonous plants.
She says, oh, I don't know anything about poison.
That would have been useful in this situation, but anybody else have any ideas about anything that might be, that this giant lizard might be averse to? What don't lizards like? Lizards don't like vegetables? No, they like vegetables. They're omnivores.
Jeff says, what is it? Scissors, right? Scissors and lizards. And I don't know what the game is. Is it bricks? Something like that.
Anybody else have any ideas as to how we get this thrown out of this lizard, if this is indeed our giant boy or lady or they? Who knows?
Matrim says, well, if it does wake up, maybe I could try to put it back to sleep. I'm a pretty good bard, but I don't know. Do these things even listen?
It's good backup, I guess. Hey, Abby, do you have a throw up spell or anything? Oh, wait, Abby, you can detect items, right?
Yep.
That might be useful. Why didn't you speak up?
I said this way at the beginning.
Well, I'm forgetful. I'm an old man. I'm sorry. I'm not spry like you youngins.
Scooter says to Shizeno, he's like, you know anything about this lizard thing? You live nearby, right? So
we could theoretically blind it pretty easily if we had something bright.
I'll say, don't we have someone who is, a worshiper of the sun or something?
Sal says, oh, me?
Yeah, maybe.
I do have a glowing bird that likes to blind things, so.
So just because a guy worships the Morning Lord doesn't mean that, all sun-based, like very straight face, but then I instantly break into a laugh because I can't hold with people.
He says, It's not like I have any sort of guiding light or, sacred powers or anything like that.
I don't know anything about that whole thing. I don't know. Seems like we have a lot to combat it. Having multiple chances at this is not a bad thing.
Kira says, but do we really need to fight it, though?
What's your idea?
I don't know. It's just sleeping right now. I just feel bad attacking it, It's not really bothering us right now.
I agree. I think our first step would probably be to locate the throne. He may not even have the throne, so maybe we should let Abby do her stuff.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Abby, it's your time to shine then.
Then I'll cast Locate Object. I can use the spell to locate the nearest object of a particular kind, such as certain kind of apparel, jewelry, furniture, tool, or weapon. So I'll say adamantine.
What's the range on that?
It's within 1,000 feet.
You don't sense it?
Nope, I don't sense any. Are we within 1,000 feet of the lizard?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, probably a good thing that we did that then.
There's more than one of these.
Yeah, I wonder if they're buddies. We should probably keep going, right? Isn't our guy?
Viren says, well, where are we going to go to? Isn't this the only lead we have? You see one of the footprints of it kind of near it, but it looks like part of the footprint has collapsed under the ground. There's some sort of large opening there.
Y'all see that opening in that footprint over there?
Mm-hmm.
No, I do.
So y'all want to check it out?
Sure.
What, Abby?
If we all walk over there and it collapses more and we all fall into the center of the earth, it's probably not a good thing.
That's valid. Anybody light on their feet that wants to go check it out?
I could do it.
Sal says, Jeff and I toss the ball around pretty often, so I could do it.
Say, all right, Arrow and Jeff, go check it out. Be careful.
Well, Sal said that.
Sal.
Jeff was like,
sorry.
I don't want to.
Gotcha. Would that seem like a lie? Is Sal wearing super heavy armor or anything?
He's wearing super heavy armor, but he seems super confident. So maybe you believe him?
I also have big armor, and I seem very confident in myself as well.
Yeah.
They both go bouncing off, making clanging noises. Some of the large cows at the end of the edge of the forest kind of move away. The giant lizard seems undisturbed. So you get to the opening of this footprint, and it looks like there's some sort of stonework here. Maybe there was some building here at some point, and it has since fallen to ruins. And there's you can kind of see a little bit of a path down there.
I'm gonna look at Sal and say, should we go in there?
He says, I'm not really a big fan of dark spaces. Maybe you should go in there and take a look at it.
All right. I guess I'll lower myself down carefully.
So you manage to land down there. One of the bricks that you see kind of tumbles and falls down there, but other than that, seems okay.
Okay. I'm gonna look around.
It looks like there's a tunnel that kind of leads off. It's brick lined. It's kind of a rectangular shaped. Further down, you see some sconces and a spot where a torch would set. There's some scorch marks on the ceiling here, but it looks like there are some stairs that go down, and they're kind of slippery. It looks like water has been sitting here for quite a while, and some moss has grown on here. You see a couple of markings on the side of the wall that indicate old protection runes that have been smudged. So you would think this is some sort of place where a ritual would happen or something like that.
I'm gonna climb back out of the hole.
The part where you go to grab sort of crumbles away, and you kind of slide back down.
Just try to climb out again.
You manage to scurry up the side of the wall. You get a running start, and Sal kind of helps you up once you get to the top there. This is what did you see?
I think it might be some sort of ritual grounds. There was runes on the walls, and there was it was kind of it looked like a hallway. There was sconces on the walls where you would put torches and
some sort of holy site, maybe.
Yeah.
Should let's go back to the others and see maybe if they want to go down there, or
okay.
Sal and Arrow return.
What'd y'all find?
Well, I think there might be some sort of spiritual grounds, maybe some sort of ritual grounds down there. It looks like it used to be some type of a building that must have been destroyed, and there's still some remnants underneath. Maybe it sank into the ground, or it's a basement or something.
Shizeno, any chance you know anything about any sort of group or worshippers that would reside on this island at all?
Some of the early Maho Sukai thought that these large monsters held the key to unlocking the powers of the taint, and that they kind of revered them as gods. A lot of them got like eaten by them because they're they revered them as god and didn't do anything, and they're just kind of like monsters.
I have been chosen.
Right. And so this a long time ago, this island was inhabited, but hasn't been for quite some time.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone that.
I'll say, were they particularly good tunnel builders?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, it looked like it was definitely built by somebody. There was like spots on the walls for torches and everything. And it also looked like it's pretty old. There was moss and dirt and water everywhere.
I'll say, well, how long ago did the Mahosuka live here?
I don't know, longer than I've been alive.
If they've held up this long, I mean, maybe they're safe to travel in now. These monsters have been here for hundreds of years, right? It's not like, and I imagine the Mahosuka probably knew that these monsters would be stepping on their tunnels, so would you all be okay traveling in them? Anybody have any objections?
You see, I mean, it might make sense to check it out since we don't even know where the thing we're looking for is anyway.
Right. Well, if no one opposes, and I start walking towards the tunnel as quietly as possible.
So Team 1 gets in there, no problem. You go in, everybody scurries down this little slant here. Some bricks have fallen and stuff. Abby, you kind of like tumble forward, and you roll into Wyatt. You both kind of like fall onto the ground into like a puddle. Sal goes down first, and then kind of Jeff kind of like jumps down and Sal catches him. You see Scooter jump into the air and kind of like collide down. So you're all in there now.
I'd start moving forward. I don't know who's the head of the group, but...
Yeah, so Gizmo kind of leads the way down this like long, dark tunnel. Jeff lights up a torch. This long hallway kind of leads out actually into this big chamber. And at the center of it, you see this looks like this semi-long slanted table. And at the bottom of it looks like an open lizard's mouth, and on the table it looks like there's like an X shape manacles, and above the table it looks like there's like almost like a chandelier made of metal, but all of the places where you put candles look like the teeth of a giant lizard. And there is a huge wall behind this table with a large relief etching on it.
I would assume that this is some sort of like holy place.
You could say that. So Wyatt, you think that this is some sort of like dinner table? It's like a fancy banquet hall.
It's like sacrifice room where they drain the blood into the lizard mouth.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah! They strap you to the slanted table and then crush you with the teeth and drain all your blood into the lizard mouth.
Pleasant. Yummy.
I'm not sure if they're exactly the same as they used to be. This, at some point, is where the group of people that the Emperor was talking to came from. So even though they're infected with taint and maybe a little more unhinged, this is what they would just do as a religion. Like, this is what they did to, like, make good things happen.
Veron will tap you on the... He'll like, pat you on the back, but, like, kind of hard. And he's like, come on, Wyatt, keep up.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Emperor probably summoned the Gargantua, just like you said, Abby, to kind of rally the troops and bring support to him from a kingdom that is pretty oppressed at this point, right? Am I connecting all the dots correctly?
I mean, that was my initial guess with all the magic going on. Could also be making a sacrifice to gain allies.
You hear Kira, as you're saying that, your voice kind of echoing around this room. You hear Kira say, maybe not quite that. And she's standing over by the boss relief with a torch.
I'll walk over to her and I'll say, what makes you say that?
She goes, well, look at this here. And it shows basically a depiction of these giant lizards and all these kind of like giant animals. But the giant lizard seems to be like the focus of this depiction. And she kind of goes down the wall. She's walking with you, kind of like pointing out different things. And essentially, these giant lizards eating some crystals and then shooting blasts of energy from their mouths. The lizard, like, dying, a smaller one growing up. So it seems like they don't, like, breed very often. And when they do, they don't have a large litter or whatever. Usually it's just like one or two of these monsters is kind of born. But it seems like they are attracted to the crystals. It seems like that's where they get their power from. It seems like this island used to have a bunch of crystals on it, based on like a small like map type of thing. It seems like there was also crystals in the mountain of Wa. In the depictions of these crystals, it seems like these lizards have like the ability to sense them if they are on the surface. Yeah, so it seems like these crystals, they present themselves on the surface of this island and have kind of gone away. It looks like there's a large cluster underneath of the Shadowlands. And this actually seems to be the cause of the taint in Wa. It looks like as these crystals breach the surface of the ground, they corrupt everything that's kind of around them. It looks like they originate from the Underdark.
Do they resemble a certain crystal that Arrow has?
Mm-hmm. And you
what I saw in my vision.
Yeah, you feel the ground kind of shake as you're kind of finishing up looking at this.
That was a revelation, but I don't feel very comfortable staying here when the ground is not seeming as stable as it used to be. So maybe we should try and move forward, figure out a way to get out of here.
Do we bring that crystal with us?
Yeah, I have it.
Perfect.
Did I assume that they wouldn't be able to sense it through the box, though?
Correct. Yeah, and in one of these depictions, there's definitely it's showing that like all the jade in the mountain makes it kind of like that they can't sense it. There's actually one more of these depictions as you're kind of leaving, and it shows the larger lizard. It looks like almost like it's regurgitating these crystals, like baby birding it to a smaller one of these lizards.
Okay, interesting.
The baby has the
Maybe if I feed it to a baby, we can become friends.
We might. I mean, we've befriended a baby lizard before.
So if the big one we saw in the field was the big one, it may have regurgitated the throne wherever the little one is.
Right. You also know it's been about over a month now. So.
And then I assume the little one probably wouldn't want to eat it, so it could just be
Around.
wherever the nest or whatever it would be. It's a den. It's something.
All right, well, we'll have to find its den then, right? There's, I'm guessing, only one way out of this chamber? Okay.
From what you can see, yeah. The last like depictions of it, like baby birding it, was on the wall. So like if you walked in, it would be to your back, but you didn't see it because you like walked in, looked around, and then on your way out you saw it. It seems like there would have been more to this, but a lot of it has been like collapsed.
I mean, I'd be heading down that hallway just because the ground is shaking. We want to get out as quickly as possible.
Everybody seems to have a good grasp on the getting out. You see Abby kind of failing a few times, climbing up and then sliding down this like slippery, muddy slope.
Can I help Abby?
Sure. Yeah, Abby seems like she's just like, her whole front side is just like covered in mud.
You'll get it soon enough, don't worry.
Spend a little too much time hitting the books and not enough time hitting the gym, I think.
Well, I'll work out with you when we get back to the headquarters, and then we can hang out in the good old sauna.
But as you get up and you kind of like brush yourself off a little bit, you look around and the giant lizard is gone. But there's a big old path of broken trees and there are no more cows around. And it looks like the path leads off to the north.
If that was the biggest one, which I mean, I guess we can't be sure, it might regurgitate more than just crystals. So it could have been eating for two before it left.
I mean, if we follow it, most likely it'll bring us to their den where we might be able to find the throne.
Hopefully.
Then onward. I start walking down the trail of broken trees.
You follow this path. You come to another clearing about maybe like 3 hours later. And in the center of this, you see this big, huge, ruined, dilapidated castle. And at the center of it, there's a giant divot. And you see hanging over it this giant lizard regurgitating chunks and parts of the cows that you saw earlier into this pit.
Yep.
Kira says, well, they'll become mushroom food in the end, I guess.
I'll turn to Shizeno and I'll ask, did the Maho Sukai have a civilization here? Like, why would there be a castle?
They used to live here when they worshipped the gargantua.
They had like a whole city?
Yeah, they lived here for a while.
How was the Empire's relations with the Maho Sukai? Were you guys allies?
No.
Enemies?
I mean, they were spreading taint.
Valid. Okay, makes sense. Say, well, it looks like this is our place, right? We sit and wait for the lizard to leave so that we can go rummaging.
Hopefully anything organic would have been eaten by whatever it's giving it to. It would have left the inorganic off to the side or something.
Valid. So I guess we wait, right? we wait for it to go find some more food.
We could lure it away with the crystal.
I mean, it seems like it's scavenging for food anyway.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, I mean, how many times a day does it do that?
I guess not often that you come across a flock of giant cows, so you're right. Maybe it's set for a while. I'll say, anybody feel comfortable trying to lure this thing away with the crystal?
Not really.
That sounds pretty scary to do by yourself.
We can just wait then, see if it leaves.
I could just give it to Kadama, have him fly away with it.
Want him to drop dead in the middle of the forest somewhere.
That's a good point.
How well does it close the box?
I mean, it seems pretty well closed to me. It's not affecting me at all anymore.
The jade top kind of rests on top of it, but you said you like secured it before, so I imagine you tied something around it. It's just like a jewelry box. So
Drop it from a great height so it pops open when it hits the ground?
We could. I don't know how far away they sense it from.
you have an idea that they can sense it from pretty far away because they went to the palace.
To the palace after they excavated it to the surface.
Yeah, and I could send Kama pretty far.
Well, before we get into it, maybe we should have Abby try and detect the throne, see if it's here. Because if it isn't, there's no use in luring the lizard away, right?
Yeah, you'd probably have to get a little closer first.
Are you comfortable doing that?
So to get closer, you would have to be in the open. There's like a pretty big clearing around this. You can see like all of the land has kind of been like trodden down by these huge footprints.
Could I like go off and use like open the box to lure him away for just long enough to get him away and then close it again so that he loses my trail and sneak off into the forest?
Yeah, I mean, that's our best bet, right? Abby, would you feel comfortable approaching a little bit closer if we were to lure away the big lizard?
Yeah, I assume it attacked the castle because there wasn't any around here. I'm not sure how long their crazy energy beams last for, so I don't know if it like will sense it and just shoot a laser at you. Is something to consider now that we know they can do that. As you saw with me trying to get in and out of that hole, I'm not an extremely athletic person, so it would worry me to try to get away on my own. But if it was going the other way or completely hell-bent on getting that and not paying attention to anything else, then if it is looking away, its peripheral vision might be horrible.
If its eyesight is bad though, is it not like maybe exceptional at smelling or hearing?
I mean, it's probably smell, or maybe it's just a innate magical sense. Like I can cast a spell to locate the throne. Maybe it just has that on constantly for those crystals.
Shizeno, do you think Keidama could probably like distract the lizard just long enough to see for Abby to try and detect the throne?
How long would you need?
About 10 seconds once I'm close enough.
I mean, I can try. Or Kanama can anyway.
I mean, I feel like we should just have him fly and like drop the crystal on the other side. So we don't need it for anything.
And I would suggest we. I mean, once we knew it was here, I was going to have him just fly to like the coast, drop it over there, leave it nowhere near us.
Yeah,
like,
or far away.
Back. He doesn't have to be anywhere near me. Like he just has to sleep 8 hours a day. That's the only requirement.
Yeah, that would work too.
So yeah, go for it.
What? I wasn't going to do it until we know the throne's here.
Well, then can we use Keidama to distract the lizard first so that Abby's a little bit safer in detecting the throne? If the throne is here, then we can use Keidama to lure it away.
I can try.
There is a lot riding on that bird friend of yours, but I believe in them.
All right, if they're ready to do that, I'll have Kadama fly towards the eyes of it to try to blind it with its natural bright light and just kind of fly around its head and stay out of the way.
Yeah, it seems to be angered by this, and you see it start to like breathe in very deeply.
Ideally, it would be in the eyes and then get behind the head, like to try to stay behind the head as it moves. Mm-hmm. It's not going to stay like right in front of its face.
As it's breathing in constantly for 10 seconds, it hasn't breathed out yet. It seems like it's sucking in like a lot of air. You see the inside of its throat light up this like bright, vibrant blue, and as like it's blinded, it sort of shakes its head and blasts the ground kind of all around. So everybody except for Arrow, you're going to take 22 lightning damage and 22 fire damage. Arrow, you are going to take 11 lightning damage.
Hey, I have my speckled marbles on me.
Ah, yes you do. I'm guessing everybody else still has those.
Yeah, I mean, may as well use that, yeah. That only cancels out the fire portion, I'm guessing, not the lightning.
Right.
Can I like reserve the rest of what I rolled for the next time that I get attacked
No.
Fire?
It has 3 uses, but the other 2 are, you'd have to use up your reaction in order to use it for the other 2. Absorbs like whatever in that one use, so it doesn't carry over.
But I still have 2 more uses?
Yeah.
Not great, not great, not great, not great, not great.
I mean, I was down to 12.
So
It's 34 now, so.
as you're like kind of blasted with this huge wave of bright energy, the ground around you collapses and you all fall into this, what seems like a huge pit that surrounds this castle that is underground. You kind of see the dim light coming in through the giant hole where the gargantua had been dropping off the carcasses of the cows that it had swallowed. It's a big circular, almost like Colosseum-style pit. To the northeast, you see what looks like a smaller gargantua reptiles sleeping. And all around you are bones and skulls, sort of like littering the ground. Random weapons, mostly bones though. And at the center, where this huge pile of like flesh and bones and stuff kind of mounded up is, you see the outline of this round shape with 10 stalks coming off of it. The edge of each of the stalks seems like there's these eyeballs.
Is it